everybody, Trevor here, and I'm back from my long hiatus. There have been a lot of characters in the Thomas universe, whether in the original books, the TV series, annuals, magazines, and other Thomas media. But did you know that there are certain ones that were dropped for several reasons? Well, that's today's topic. For this video, I won't be talking about P.T. Boomer since I've rambled on him enough times on my YouTube channel and why I still think he's important to the plot of the first movie. So if you want to hear my honest thoughts on him, I'll provide a few links in the description below. This video is for characters that were originally going to appear in either the Railway series or TV series. So without further ado, let's dive in and take a closer look. The first one we'll be talking about is Nigel the Green Transporter with the number 21 on his sides. He was originally going to appear in Season 6 as well as the Pack spin-off series, but was ultimately dropped and replaced by Nelson, who was number 10. According to Robert Gauld-Galliers, the man who developed Nigel, he couldn't answer the question on why he was dropped and thought that Nigel could be made as a toy, though he didn't have the gizmos attached to it. Oh, and if Robert is watching this, I hope he doesn't copyright claim the images that I'm borrowing because this video falls under fair use. It's not meant to be infringing on his copyright in any way, shape, or form. Now let's move on to Little Giant, another character that was supposed to appear in Season 6 but was cut out. Little Giant is an orange double ferry locomotive who was going to be part of the Gauld-Gallier Railway, and like Nigel, he was also developed by Robert Gauld-Galliers, and based on concept art and crew descriptions, Little Giant was going to have two different personalities. One end appears nervous and worried, the other end feels brave and confident. In other words, schizophrenia. However, according to Robert himself, the reason he was cut was because some of the staff thought he would look too weird for a Thomas character due to having two faces. Well, that was weird. I mean, we have the Caulifel railway engines who also had two faces on each end, so why is this character any different? Thankfully, the idea was an inspiration from Mighty Mac, who was first introduced in Season 9 of the original TV series. So that takes care of that. Oh, and by the way, this is what the real Little Giant locomotive looks like in real life. And before there was Nigel and Little Giant, did you know that there was a Railway series character named Barry the Rescue Engine? He was going to appear in the Railway series as part of the 50th anniversary of the franchise and was supposed to have the same basis as Arthur. He was also named after Barry Island's scrapyard, an infamous place in South Wales where he was rescued from. However, the character was dropped due to several reasons. One of those reasons would have been that many fans are tired of new characters in the books. Another reason was that the publishers at Egmont wanted something about Thomas and his friends as the main spotlight, which led to Thomas and the Fat Controller's Engines being published in 1995. While Barry the Rescue Engine was cancelled, thankfully Barry was mentioned in a couple of companion volumes. And according to Christopher Audrey, Barry was quote-unquote dead but not yet buried. Oh, and that leads me to my next point. There was another character that was greenlit by Christopher Audrey, but it's a completely different one from Barry, and that would be the Unknown Austerity Engine, which is the same basis for both Wilbur and 16. At the end of Wilbur the Forest Engine, Sir Thomas Hat was planning to get an engine like Wilbur one day to work on the Northwestern Railway, but unfortunately, the character was dropped for unknown reasons. Though it is possible that 16 could be the austerity engine that Sir Thomas Hat was looking for, which would make some sense since it's obvious that Wilbur and 16 are two different characters. Speaking of which, the Reverend Wilbur Audrey also had an austerity model named Warrington, who he uses as a spare for the Farquhar branch line layout, though it is unconfirmed that this would be the austerity engine that Sir Thomas Hat was wanting to purchase in the first place. Let's talk about one more, and that would be the Vicarstown tramway engines who are going to appear in the Great Race, as well as in the cancelled special Controller at Sea, which would later evolve into Big World Big Adventures the movie. These three characters were originally greenlit by Ian McHugh, one of the higher-ups at Mattel, but the idea was put on hold due to budgeting constraints and stuff. He was also hoping that one day The idea would be revisited again, but this never happened due to the original series ending in season 24 and was replaced by All Engines Go. And according to an early concept idea for Controller at Sea, these three electric tramway engines would often tease and gossip about the big engines who visit Vickerstown Station, and they think that they are better than them. They can also be very busy and can travel on street level just like a street trolley in San Francisco. Now let's discuss my final thoughts on all five of these dropped characters. Personally, I think they would have made interesting additions to the overall lore of the Thomas franchise. One of my absolute favorites would have to be the Austerity Agent because I think he or she should be either replaced by 16 or just have him or her be an entirely new character with an interesting story arc. I'll be perfectly fine either way. Also, the Vickerstown electric tramway engines would make great additions to the CGI series because I would have loved to see more electric engines into the franchise, besides those from the Railway series, TV series, etc. In addition, if Nigel and Little Giants weren't dropped to begin with, then maybe Nigel can be Nelson's helper so that Nelson won't have to deliver and drop off the other pack members all day long by himself. And I personally think Little Giant could be one of the new engines who used to work on the Midsoar Railway but was brought to the Skarloey Railway in case Mighty Mac needs an overhaul. Imagine the two of them being the best of friends. As for Barry, I think he should be greenlit by Mattel one day and have him work either on the Little Western branch line with Duck and Oliver, or have him work on the Normandy branch line with Arthur since they are both brothers of the same class. But I want to hear your thoughts on these cut characters. Do you agree with what I've said, or do you have better ideas? Because I like to know. This is Trevor Davis signing off, and have a great day.